I am so excited to share with you my guest today. Her name is Christine Blosdale, and she is known as the expert authority coach. So, if you have ever felt invisible, even though you're really good at what you do, this conversation is for you. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you, Kris. I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time. Thank you.
Yeah, really happy to have you. I think we're in a lot of alignment with the work that we do, and I want to dig into it. So tell me a little bit about you and your backstory and how you got here.
I was really lucky many moons ago, maybe before your time, but back in the day, there was no YouTube, there was no TikTok, there was no Facebook. It was America Online, and that's all there was. And I was very fortunate to get an amazing opportunity to write for them because they were only we didn't have videos and stuff like that. We were just writing columns, and I got to write the entertainment column. I wrote it under a pseudonym, a cartoon character, not Christine Blosdale, but this vampy, campy, head hopper, anatomically incorrect drawn cartoon called Beatbox Betty. And so during that time, I actually got to really hone in my skills on how to communicate with a very large demographic. My editor said, Christine, this is AOL, and your audience is anywhere from 8 years old to 80. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is way before the Shrek movies, but I wrote in a style that young people would enjoy it, and they thought it was cute with the character. And then also adults got it, and they were like, "Oh, okay, she's being a little saucy right now." But I was involved in like all the premieres and the celebrity interviews and movie reviews, and I got to be very creative. But I also got to really hone in on what people want and were seeking out. So I did that for a while, and then 9/11 happened, and I don't know about you, but I mean, I remember exactly where I was, and I had all these questions, and I really felt that what I was doing for my career was not that important in the grand scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares who Angelina Jolie is dating? When these kind of things happen, you're like, what?
Yeah.
So I was seeking, and that's what happens is when your soul is seeking for something, opportunities will appear, and you just have to take that and know that pull, that thing that rings your bell. And I was channel surfing as you do, stuck in traffic in Los Angeles because there's always traffic, and I heard a radio station that was really unique, and it wasn't like the corporate media. It wasn't lots of fear, but it was actually asking questions, and it was talking about our foreign policies that we've had over the years in the Middle East. And I was like, wow, this is so refreshing. And these are people actually expressing themselves and analyzing. And so I just went to the station and I said, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I want to walk around and say thank you. And they let me. There's no security. They were like, oh, come on in. And so I went into that radio station, and from a grateful heart, I just said thank you to people. And that opportunity happened where they said, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I write, I'm a cartoon character, and I go to Hollywood premieres, and it felt so shallow. But they said, you know what, you should think of volunteering. And I said, you can do that? Yeah. So I started volunteering just because I thought it would be a great experience for me.
Mhm.
And that turned into a job, an opportunity to be a writer, a producer. And then that golden moment where they said, it's so Hollywood. It's such a Hollywood story of the host can't, they broke their leg, or they're sick, or they got the flu, and you have to go on the air. And I was terrified. And I had an imposter syndrome moment where I was like, what if I mess up? What are people going to think? This is a very large audience. Los Angeles, drive time, 5 o'clock at night.
Uh-huh.
And I was terrified. But the program director said, you have to do it. And so I reluctantly went into this dark little studio, put on the headphones, pulled the mic to my mouth, and the red on air light went on, and magic happened. It was as if I knew what the audience was thinking. I could hear them ask questions, so I addressed those questions. It was magic. And I just started talking, and all that imposter syndrome stuff just went away. And I said, oh my God, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I was there at that radio station for 20 years.
Wow.
And I got to meet some amazing people, do interviews like you do as a podcast host, Kris, and meeting all these amazing people. And I raised a lot of money because it was a nonprofit radio station. So we had a fund drive. It was that PBS model, right?
Yep. Yep.
Selling stuff kind of. But I was very successful in that.
Mm.
But what I found was that when I would interview someone, an author or a thought leader, I had all these ideas for them for their business. I would go to their website and I would say, you know what? After the interview, of course, I would say, have you ever thought of doing this or that, or, writing that book, or, I would come up with these ideas because I have this creative mind where I can look at somebody like I stalked you a little bit. I went to your website and I'm like, she's doing everything right here. There's nothing in that. And it's the same thing if I go to a restaurant. I'll pick out the things that they're doing right, but also the things that they can improve on. If I go to a spa, I make sure that if somebody treats me really well, I go to the manager and I say, this person deserves a raise. They're amazing. But I also can spot the things that are not working, right? The communication is not, the messaging is not very good, or the branding is really bad. And so I found that when I was doing that, these wonderful guests that I would be talking to in the radio program, they would say, hey, can I hire you to work on my website? Can I hire you to help me with my publicity and my marketing? And I said, absolutely. And that's also where that bell went off in my head. And I said, this is something I can really do and I love doing. So I was still working at the radio station and then still having some new clients here and there. And I started my coaching business. And basically, I am that expert authority coach. I like to say I like to take people's gems and put them in their crown so that they can get their message out to the world and communicate. And you said something, I think it was on a podcast. I thought it was so brilliant. You say that as entrepreneurs and coaches and consultants, we tend to be in that bottle, right? And the label, we can't see what's on the label on the outside because we're in it. We're living it. We're stressed out. We're trying to book clients and make money, but we don't see what someone from the outside can see, like yourself. You have that same eye, right? Where you can look at something and you can go, oh, that's cringeworthy. That's not working. Or
Yeah.
maybe their message isn't getting communicated. So that's a very long answer to your first question, but that's how I got started, and
Wow.
here I am. Yeah.
What an incredible story. I love it. Thank you for getting into all the detail. And I love the Shrek reference around being able to craft a message that really resonates with such a wide
A big
audience. Like
audience.
that is hard to do. And really you following those, like that golden thread of your own story and following those nudges and those opportunities and look at where it got you. That's incredible. So I would love to hear about somebody you met, you interviewed at the radio station that ended up hiring you to be their coach, and what happened for them. Like, what was their current
Yeah.
situation, their website, and what kind of transformation happened for them?
Because I was on the air raising funds, and they had fund drive like every other week, it felt like, I would be presenting things. And there's the golden, the ratio of three, the magic of three. And I would focus my fundraising shows on health, wealth, or love. And those three things, if anybody's listening and you're like thinking, I really want to start my own business, if you can focus on any of those three things, health, wealth, or love. And wealth does not mean how much money you have in the bank. Wealth could be having enough time to spend with your loved ones, right?
Mhm,
And love is not just a romantic love. It's love for your community. It's love for yourself,
mhm.
right? So I focused on those type of shows for the fund drive to help raise funds. And a lovely lady was listening, a longtime listener to the station. She heard me. She actually emailed me and said, "I would love to be a guest on your show, but I first want to meet. I would love to meet you." And I'm a colon hydrotherapist in Santa Barbara, and I actually lived in Ventura, so it's not very far. Anyway, and so I said, "Well, this is interesting. She wants to give me a colon hydrotherapy session. Okay, that's a big one. All right." So
This is
I said,
intimate.
"Okay, let's introduce each other. Let's get to know each other." And I went to, and now this woman, she had a small clinic in Santa Barbara. It's very time consuming occupation. You're not just with somebody for half an hour, you're with them for several hours. And you have to be an angel, I believe, to have that kind of a business. And her heart was so huge, and she wanted to help people who were in discomfort with gut health issues. And so I met her and I just fell in love with her. And her name is Julia Loggins. She's Kenny Loggins' ex-wife, former wife, who, by the way, Kenny and Julia did it right. When they separated, they are still good friends. They kept it together for their kids as far as not being mean or vicious. They celebrate holidays together, and they did it right. So when I went to see her, I was amazed at how much time she was spending, but her knowledge base. This woman had been doing this, studying gut health, and saved her own life for like 40 years.
Wow.
extraordinary. And I said, you're hiding in this little tiny clinic. Only people that can get to you can experience your wisdom and get your advice.
Mhm.
And she had a few products there that she was saying, you could take, this is great protein. This is a thing to help with your gut health. And I was like, I saw the gold mine. I saw that not only a gold mine, but how many people she could help
Right.
globally.
The impact. Yeah.
And I said, we got to take you. Yes, I had her on the show. And we talked about stuff, but not until after we created her brand and her website. And so we made sure that the books that she wrote were all reinforcing her expert authority as a gut health coach and a gut health expert. And then also I got to help her create some products because I said, you need to, you can white label some of these things. You can be the brand. And I remember the very first thing she goes, well, I was thinking about, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And she showed me an image. She goes, I'm thinking about calling the products, this. And I was like, no, it's not just the Happy Gut colon cleanser or the Happy Gut protein powder. I said, it's Julia Logan's Happy Gut Cleanse. It's Julia Logan's protein powder.
Mm.
And she was like, oh, you sure? Again, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I should. I said, you paid dearly for your name, did you not? Like with all the stress of being married to a famous person? She said, oh, yeah. And I said, you radiate health and wellness. This woman, the photo that she had a photo that she had for her book where she's in front of a juicer and she's got fruits and vegetables and she just radiates this beautiful health aura. And I said, your picture needs to be on these products as well. And she said, I trust you. And now she oh my gosh, now she sells her products all around the world.
Mm.
She has a TikTok channel. She has so many followers. She has videos that she's posted on gut health issues that have reached in the millions. And now she is I think it's every Monday, she does a live TikTok video where she's interacting with people. She has clients all around the world and she wrote a beautiful testimonial for me. And she said, my whole life has changed because Christine saw in me something that I couldn't see.
Right.
And that I think that's she's one of my favorite stories where
Mm.
someone actually reached out and then we just took it from there and now she's helping people all around the world.
Incredible. Incredible. I know who she is because she and
Do
Kenny
you?
were on, I don't know her, but I know I've seen her interviewed before. She and Kenny were on the Oprah show at one point in time
Oh my
when they
gosh.
were
Oh.
together. And yeah, and I actually really love Kenny Loggins. So
He's a good guy.
yeah, yeah. So one of the things that I think is really incredible about what you did, and tell me if I'm on the mark or off the mark here, but a lot of the people that I work with, and it sounds like she was in a similar boat where she didn't want to be in the spotlight, was maybe a little bit shy. I think a lot of the people that I work with love the work they do. They're passionate about it and they just want to help people, but they don't necessarily want to step into the forefront and be
Yeah.
visible and do all that. And I think for some people, it can feel like maybe ego involved, or they're just shy, or imposter syndrome. There's all kinds of reasons that this happens. And when I work with my clients, much of the work that we do is around mindset. And much of the work that I do is just really encouragement, like you can do this and here's how, step 1, 2, and 3. But was she in that kind of position? Was she more of a like a behind the scenes type of expert, or what would
Yeah,
you
well,
say?
when you're in business like that, and she was so busy doing the business.
Right.
Again, remember, it was a very time intensive. She still does. She still
Yeah.
sees clients and does the colon hydrotherapy,
Yeah.
but she can relax a little bit because now she's got all of this other the sales of the products and her consultations with people all around the world. But in the beginning, I think what it was, she thought that's all it was.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm. Hmm.
She wasn't able to see outside of the label, right?
Right.
Outside of that package.
Right.
So having me look in and go, girl, like what, you're only helping people that live in a very small proximity. I have another client who's the same thing. She's a master hypnotherapist and a Reiki master healer. And she was in Los Angeles and she had some very high end celebrity clients, but she could only reach people that were there in Los Angeles. And I'm thinking people in Saskatchewan or people in London need to hear about your, your wonderful work that you do as well and be inspired by you.
Mhm.
And so we got her, we basically created a podcast for her brand and her business. And now she's reaching people all around the world. She's got over like 150 episodes. She's interviewed Pat Benatar. She's killing it. She's
Amazing.
76-ish, 70.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah.
the thing is that she only thought as well, like Julia, that this is all there is.
Right.
And man, they were working so hard.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is that if you've got something that really truly helps people, if you're a coach or a consultant, if you're a fitness coach or a business coach, and you can help a lot of people, you need to get out of your own way
Totally.
and focus on them and reaching them. And it's almost with that imposter syndrome that comes up. A lot of times it's really hits women. It really hits people who are overachievers, who want to make sure everything is perfect.
Yeah.
And we as a society right now, we're craving authenticity. We're craving that connection. That's why story does so well, right? That's why when I was talking about working with AOL and driving in traffic and all that, people were glued to that story because they can relate to it. But it's a real true thing that happened. And
Mhm.
it's not ChatGPT made up. It's what happened.
Right.
So we need that connection. And that's why every person that I work with, I'm like, let's get you out of your own way and get you to reach the people that you claim that you want to help and serve. Because that's the main goal, right? That's the whole thing. And if you don't show up, I have a thing at the bottom of every page on my website, and it says, remember this: if you're not seen and you're not heard, you're not hired.
Mhm. Mm.
Nobody is going to go down your street and knock on your door and say, hey, I heard you're the greatest thing, Kris Jones. You can help people with business. They're not going to do that, but they need to see you. They need to hear you. And with that, your expert authority hopefully will come through. And it does with you, with everything that you do. You're fine.
You're fine too.
You're fine.
Yeah, people come to me and they've been struggling with their messaging, their story, and often I'll tell them this feels like a messaging problem, but it's actually a perspective problem. And
Yeah.
what I can do is come in and look at
Yeah.
you and your brilliance with fresh eyes and a fresh perspective that you can't get because you're inside that damn jar. So yeah, like I really loved what you had said about the gems, identifying the gems and putting them in the crown. And I use a similar metaphor around mining for gold. Like the gold of your story is inside of you. It's not created by ChatGPT or
Yeah.
invented outside of you by somebody else. It's already in there, and it's really my job to unearth it. And those
Yeah.
golden nuggets, they're rough around the edges, they're caked with dirt, but I know when I find them.
Then you'll polish them up
Polishing them
and you get
up.
them. And you know
Yeah.
what? A lot of times too is that we think, oh, that little thing that I did, that little silly thing that I did, or we forget. We forget. And I'll tell people too, I'll say, you have 5 best-selling books in you. You know, is
Mhm.
that going to make you a lot of money? Maybe not. Most likely not. But it is going to increase your expert authority if you have a best-selling book. And so I really encourage a lot of my clients to, and not a huge, because most people think it's, oh, I got to write a huge Tom Clancy novel. No, it can be
No.
a little
Yeah.
guide. I have a book my last book that I did, it's so thin that I don't even, there's no room on the spine for my name, right?
Yeah.
I have 5 bestsellers, and they're all little thin, tiny, itty bitty books.
People's attention spans are smaller.
Yeah,
And my mentor, Donald Miller, says the perfect book is one you can read on one flight. If you're going,
there you go.
from LA to Denver, whatever, can you read it on a flight? That's what people really, really like. And you can upload it to Amazon and get it out there. And if you get a few clients from it, like golden, but you're likely to get more.
Well, and it raises your expert authority. Remember, I told you earlier too, I was 20 years in broadcast journalism. I was a host, I was a producer, and I would get pitched from publicists constantly. I would also get pitched from people that would just inbox me and say, put me on your show. I want to be on your show. And I go, well, why? Why do I want to have you on the show? It's always about the audience, right? What is the audience going to gain?
Yeah.
So I would go to their website or I would look at what they had. And I'll tell you, those folks that have written a book, bestseller or not, but the people that were authors of books, they got moved up in the ranks
You know,
because I had something I could talk to them about.
right, right.
The book, I
Yes,
could just look at
yes.
the back cover and go, yep, I could talk for hours about this subject,
Totally,
right?
totally. And
So write that book.
the very process of writing a book forces you to get so super clear about what you do, how to communicate it in a clear and simple way. And by the time you've birthed that book, you are a different version of yourself. You are that. You are a higher expert, and you know how to talk about it in a better way.
You can also, I'm a repurposed queen, so you can also take that book and you can create programs out of it. Signature programs. You
Right.
can create courses. You can create blogs. Take a chapter and make it be a blog or a newsletter. Let's say, like in LinkedIn, you can take one chapter and create a workshop or a webinar around it, or take the whole book, right?
Right.
The last book that I did was the Social Media and Branding Survival Guide. The full title is Digital Marketing So Irresistible Even Your Ex Will Want to Follow You. Okay, so it gives you an idea of the kind of humor that I have, and the book is fun to read because it's silly and fun, but you also get good stuff.
Yeah.
But I finally listened to my own advice, Kris, because we as coaches sometimes we spout these great, amazing things, and then we don't take our own advice. And I said, after 5 books that I've written, one on social media and branding, the other ones are all on podcasting, about how to create a podcast, how to be a guest on podcasts. Fantastic. But then I finally listened, and I'm working on my 6th book right now, and it's called The Expert Authority Code. And it's all about how to get seen, how to get trusted, and how to get paid for what you already know.
Mm.
And so I finally listened to my own advice, and I'm writing and I'll be publishing this book soon, but it's all about my business and how I've seen, and I put references to Julia Loggins and to a few clients of mine that are success stories, so that people can feel that, oh my gosh, there's hope for me as well, right?
Mm.
But I finally took something that is my baby, that I know more than anything, and I'm putting it into a book form. And that is also going to help my expert authority.
Mhm.
So, writing a book, publishing it, and there's ways I work with clients on how to make it be a bestseller. We have a very simple system to use, and it doesn't cost a lot of money at all. It doesn't cost anything, the process.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that people need to, and realize this too. I have some clients and I say, okay, we need you to write that book on whatever it is, right? I have one client who helps find, and she's an investigator and she helps find missing children. But her whole thing is about safety tips and strategies for parents. This is how to keep your kids safe, which I'm like, there's a bestseller right there,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
every parent needs it.
Yep.
The thing is that if you're somebody who says, okay, I'm not a writer, Christine, I'm not either. I have 5 best-selling books, but I'm not a writer. If
Mm.
I look at a blank Word doc, I want to vomit in my mouth. I'm like, "Ah," but I'm a talker, right? I'm a
Yeah.
speaker. So I
Yeah.
take my workshops, my webinars, my podcast appearances, my coaching sessions, and I take all of that and I can transfer the video of those speaking events and transfer it into interesting, wonderful, readable chapters in a book. Not a
Mm.
transcript, because that would be boring,
Yeah.
but I can transfer that knowledge into pages in a book. And so
Right.
if you're listening to this and you're like, I feel that tug to write that book, create that book. I always say, instead of write that book, create that book,
Mm.
because there's somebody out there that could really appreciate what it is that you're, especially if you've overcome some obstacles in life. So you don't have to be a writer. You could actually be a
Right.
talker like me.
Yeah, that I just finished my second book a week ago. Well,
Congratulations.
this iteration of it, but yes, I'm really excited about it and learning a ton about the publishing process and all that entails. I'm very curious how you got to #1 for all of yours. But before we go there, I wanted to share my friend Victoria, who is a writer. She is a writer, but she loves spoken word. She has been on Moth many times and she loves to curate her story and refine it and get on stage and deliver it. And I think they give you 5 or 8 minutes, assuming you've been to a Moth event
I
before.
haven't been to a Moth event, but I know of them, and
Yes.
it would be similar to a TED Talk where you have only a certain amount of
Yes.
time,
Yes.
and
But it's
you got to
like
be
half as
real
much.
good. Yes.
You gotta be, you gotta be really good. So she loves telling stories in that way. And she's been working on this book for a couple of years and feeling stuck and dead end and restart. And she just got frustrated and she ended up talking to an intuitive psychic who was like, listen, I won't go into all the details, but essentially the psychic was like, you don't follow roadmaps. You have to create your own roadmap for
Mm.
this book. You can't follow someone else's path. You need to develop your own way based on what nudges you're getting. And so really where she came to with that was She's not going to sit down and write this book over a period of months. She's going to write one chapter at a time, perform it live for her Substack group or her newsletter. So if you're on her newsletter, you get dripped out the book chapter by chapter and her performing it, because if she has a deadline like that and an audience that's awaiting it, that's going to give
Makes
her
her
the
do it.
nudge, little drops month by month. And then by the end of month 7 or 8, she's going to have a whole book.
Oh, I love that. You see, that's a great process. And everybody is different and unique in how they flourish, right? I knew when I for years I wanted to write a book, but I thought the process was going to be too daunting. I thought I had to write a Tom Clancy novel, a 700-page book, and I said I don't see it. And but I always had that. I could always imagine my face on the back of a book cover, that photo, and I kept seeing it, but I couldn't understand how to get there. And because I can express myself and I've worked so many years on messaging and communication, I know that I can speak my truth and people feel it, right? And
Mhm.
so I know when it came to putting that content into a book so that people can enjoy it, I knew that I had to do it this way, that I had to take the video content of me really channeling, right?
Yeah,
All of the stuff
yeah.
that I've learned over the years. And that was my way of conveying it. Now, some other people are great writers, and then some other people are great performers. And like your client is, she has to show up now too, because she's got an audience that's waiting for her. Woo, that's some. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that. But that's a great way of going about it in the creative process. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And all to say, like, what motivates you, or what's going to be the hack that you can create for yourself that's going to allow this to unfold, get it done, but to do it in a way that feels fun and not
Yeah,
daunting, not overwhelming.
that feels in alignment with you. That's the major
Yes,
thing.
yes,
It's
yes.
getting it done. That's the other thing. Don't say one day I'll write that book. I've heard that. I've heard that too many times. One day won't come unless you actually start the process. And I like to, for me, I start off with, a lot of times like in Canva, I'll go in and create the book cover.
Yeah.
I'll already know somewhat what the title is going to be. I will throw it into ChatGPT after I've decided what the title is going to be, and I'll ask for its opinion on it. And I'll say, am I missing something? Is this resonating with my target audience who is blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But in Canva, I'll create a mock up
Yep.
of what the cover looks like, and I'll get it printed in color. And then I will have it somewhere near my desk where I see it so that the book is already created. It's a little bit of
Right. Your
sleight of hand.
brain, yeah, your brain's like, oh, we've done this, we've got this, it's real. And
Yes,
so then, yeah,
the book is alive in that design,
yep.
and now all I've got to do is fill the pages, right?
Right. Oh,
So
yeah.
that's my little hack. That's my little
Yeah.
thing. You can
That's
borrow it
so
if you like.
funny. Just like a couple weeks ago, I did a similar thing because I have about 4 or 5 different book ideas, and I wanted to envision how they all work together and what they're going to help people do. And so I went into Canva, 4 different book mock-ups, the titles of each one, what the main call to action would be for each book, and how I could support the readers of that book and what they're going to get from it. But yeah, having that for me, I think we're both very visual people, like
Yeah.
having that. And I didn't get into the details of the design so much, but I had that actual book mock up with the title on there, and that was good enough. It felt real. And now I've got this kind of overarching roadmap that I don't have to figure it out. I already figured it out. So yeah.
It's so important, and I would suggest to you people can do that for their own business as well, where even if you don't have a website yet or anything like that, if you create something that you can look at and you can go, oh, that's my business or that's my brand, right? Your brand is not, it's not the colors that you use or the font or the logo. Your brand is you. It's the essence of you. It's your vibe. It's your energy. Not to be woo woo, but it is. It's your energy that you put out.
Right.
And so you can build out, like, what does your business look like? What is your ideal day like? Like, Mondays for me, it used to be when I did work, even when I worked at the radio station, sometimes Mondays were like, oh my God, it's Monday morning. I got to do the commute, the traffic, go into the office. People are going to talk. Well, yeah. I was like so stressed out. And then I said, okay, so what is my ideal business? What would it look like? And I know I'm human design. Hello, human design. I'm a projector. I work best by myself, isolated, but in my home environment where I can be with my puppy, I can do a load of laundry, I can create my courses, create my books, do all this, work with my clients, right? And I can talk to people all around the world right from the comfort of my own home. And that's how I work best. So if that's how you work best, then imagine what that business looks like and how you can support that and do that. Other people, they need to have that interaction with, they need that social interaction, that water cooler thing. They want to be around other people. They feel good that they can go to work and then come home and work is over there in the office. If
Right.
that's you, then you do that. But
Yeah.
imagine what it looks like and map it out. Even do a graphic on Canva. This is what my website might look like. There's so many tools you could use. My God.
Totally. So many. I want to hear about like your perfect week. What does your perfect Monday look like? Or how do you have themes for each day or days where you're doing
Yeah.
podcasting? Yeah, I want to hear about that because I'm into that.
My Mondays are actually relatively slow. So they're Mondays are my days that I do my own personal projects. So I'll work on my book or I'll work on a new program. I don't have as many clients on Monday. I have a few Australian ones because I'm here in near Sydney, and it's Sunday in America. So no, nobody's booking sessions on Sunday, and most of my clients are American. So Mondays are kind of my days that I can do the things that I need to do. If I need to, book a doctor's appointment, if I need to take care of some things, if I need to go grocery shopping and things like that, Mondays are my day to do that. It's for me, right?
It's like
Um,
the cushion, the post weekend cushion, like
yes, yes,
breathing
and I
day. Yeah.
and I will from time to time. I will have a client call. I don't block it out and say no. I can't do any client calls.
Right.
I will do for people. That's fine. But if it's one session, then the rest of the day I've got to myself. Tuesdays are my busiest day because that's Monday in America, and Tuesdays are crazy. What I tend to do is I work into Saturday because it's Friday in America. So
Right.
I'll work half day on Saturday. My wife is a real estate agent, fantastic, wonderful, very successful agent. And Saturday she's doing open homes.
Right.
So I have pretty much those Saturday mornings, especially open. So that's how I kind of work. I work really with my clients and business wise Tuesday through midday Saturday. And then Sunday is our day. Like,
Yeah.
we try as much as possible to be with family, to go and visit friends, to do all those things. This last Sunday, we went and did the iFly, the it's like you're skydiving, but you're very safe and you're in a controlled environment. And
Yes.
we did that,
Yes.
and that was
Yeah.
so much fun. That was so fun.
It's so funny that you bring that up. Like I feel
What?
like we're living very like
Did you do that?
similarly.
Have you done it?
I did not do it, but I looked it up on Saturday and I
Get out of
figured
here.
out where I can do it here in Portland because I have an 8-year-old son. I want to take
Oh, take
him.
him.
And so, yeah, he would love it. And I showed him the video and he's getting comfortable with it. But
It's so much
yeah,
fun for kids. It's so much
yeah,
fun for adults. And I was a
yeah.
little scared. I was a little nervous to tell you the
Mhm.
truth because, it's a huge wind turbine underneath you and you're flying. I mean, it's wild, but you have somebody there that's making sure you're okay. But I was nervous about doing it and going up in the thing, like going high.
Yeah.
And I saw that was right before me was this 3-year-old who did it. And I said, okay, if
Okay,
the
I can do
3-year-old little baby can do it, Christine, come on now. And my
it.
wife and I, we have the video, we have videos from it, and we had so much fun. The look on our faces is just
Oh, did you get to go in together at one or separately?
no. We did you
Yes,
did it separately because
separately.
we
Okay.
didn't know how to. But then
Yeah.
you get the bug. Your son might, you never know,
Yeah.
might want to do this as a sport. And you
Yeah.
know what? It's a workout.
Oh,
You don't
really?
realize because first of all the adrenaline is pulsing
Right.
through your body,
Right.
and you
Right.
got to hold your arms, a certain way. And if you've got that
Oh
resistance,
my gosh.
so
Okay.
I was
We're gonna
sore.
do
I was
it.
a little sore.
I'll send you a photo of us this weekend.
Yes. Oh,
I'm
that would
gonna
be
make it
great.
happen. Okay.
Awesome.
Let's get back. I want to ask you a little bit more about podcasting and
Yes.
why you believe in it so deeply for your clients. Listen, you're preaching to the choir. I know I'm a huge fan. I think it's such an incredible tool. It's only growing. It's
Yes.
such a
Yes.
wonderful way for you to, in the comfort of your own home,
Yes.
talk about what you love to talk about and meet new people. So give it to me. Like,
Yes.
why should our listeners be on a podcast?
Well, it's twofold, right? So some clients that come to me, I can see right away they need to have their own podcast. They need a branded podcast for their business, for who they are. Their personality is such that it's like this is a no-brainer. And think of all the content that you can create out of those episodes, right? Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. But some clients I'll say, but then there's other clients that they don't have that in them. they're not going to be able to be consistent with it. Because it's work.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not, you don't just hit record and everything's done for you. So for those clients, but they have a great message, or their whole business is so fantastic and they can communicate, so
Right.
they can speak, and they have a pulse. I'll say, you need to be a guest on podcast. Why it's important. Okay. So super important. Your SEO and your AEO, your Ask Engine Optimization, which is Chat GPT ish, right? All those different search engines and AI. Every single time you're a guest on a show, your name is put out there, right, into the interwebs, and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. A lot of the shows are done in video as well. So your name and your title of what you do and your website, many times, most times, 99% of the times, the host is going to put your website on there so people can find out more information in the show notes. That is all out there on the internet and searchable. So if I put my name in, yes, if I put my name in ChatGPT or I put it in Google, of course my website's going to come up first, and maybe links to my social media, but also all those shows that I've been on. And in the last few months, I've been on over 60.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
think about the reach that you have.
Yeah.
You're also
Yeah.
reaching an audience you could never reach.
Yeah. And
I'm able to be in front of your people.
right.
I wouldn't be able to reach your folks unless being a guest on your show. So
Right.
those are like the main, most important reasons out there.
Yeah. And if the podcast is a video podcast, then you're on YouTube as well, which is one of the most powerful search engines. So it's, kind of back to what you mentioned about what's your essence? What is your energy? That is your personal brand. And that can come through so quickly on video and in audio too. And compared to like a still photo of you, a portrait of you, right? It might be beautiful, sure, but is your energy, your tone, your warmth, your confidence, your expertise, is that able to come through in a still photo? No, it can't, but it can come through in a podcast interview. And
Very
it's
important.
just
Yeah.
fun. It's fun to do.
And you're
So,
also, another great benefit is you're meeting people. So now, Kris, I know you're in my world now. You're a family, right?
yeah,
And so now I'm meeting you, and I can have you on my podcast, right? So you can reach my audience, but
yep,
also we can network together. So if I've got a project, I do these every quarter, I do these stacks, and they're expert authority people who offer a cool gift. So I could collaborate with you. I could say, hey, do you want to be part of the stack? Or, hey, there's an opportunity. I have a mastermind. Would you like to speak at my mastermind? Right.
mhm,
So it's a great way to network with some really talented folk and work together, because I don't believe in scarcity mindset at all. But I believe, like, if I'm Superman or Batman, right, and I can help my clients, do all these great things, imagine if I have the Marvel superheroes with me, right? So if I'm able to say, not only do you get me, but I'm going to bring in Kris, and I'm going to bring in Steve, and I'm going to bring in Tanya, who all are experts in their own way, then the audience benefits. The people that are having access to that content, they benefit from our skills all put together.
mhm.
So that's another amazing thing about it. But also you can repurpose your content. If you love being interviewed on podcasts and you say some amazing things, repurpose some of that, right? You can use your own words in books or on blogs and things like that. And but here's the thing: if you are a guest on a show and you're lucky enough to get on a great show like this, make sure you promote it. Don't just show up and say thank you and be done with it, and not give the host that promotion of that episode. The whole bloody episode is on you and promoting you. And if you don't lift a finger to promote it on your social media or your email, you're not going to be invited back, number one. And it's just bad karma. Shame on
Totally.
you.
I'm gonna grab this little clip and put it at the bottom of my emails. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love it. All right. So as we wind down, I want to get into something tangible. So you and I both love to talk about websites. When you go to a potential client's website or someone that's new on your radar, when you go to their website, what are the three things that you're like, oh, don't do that, do
Yeah.
this instead?
Yeah. I will say, first of all, invest in a really good headshot, please. Don't just use a selfie or a picture from 1995 Um,
with an arm cut off of somebody, right, at the
yeah,
wedding.
yeah, no. A really good headshot, it doesn't cost all that much money to book a photo shoot, but you want to have somebody who can and somebody who that's their specialty, right? Not just like product shots or pet photographer,
Or
but you
landscapes, right?
or
But
landscapes.
yeah, my neighbor has a big camera. He can come over and take my picture, but they need to be good at people photos.
Yes,
People
headshots.
photos. Yeah.
Exactly. And that headshot that you get, if it really represents you, it can open so many doors. The photo that I use, and my God, I use it on everything, is a picture of me with headphones on and a microphone in front of my face. I got my glasses on.
Yeah.
The expression on my face is absolute joy. You can't even see my eyes. My eyes are closed because I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm having a blast. So that image has a vibe, has an
Right.
energy.
And that hot
And so,
pink.
and
That
the
hot
hot
pink.
pink.
Yeah. Oh,
And so
hello.
I
Love
use
it.
that on my website. I use that on my business cards. I
Mhm.
use that image on a lot of things. And that's what opens doors because people get a feeling from it, right? Now you don't have to do the same thing, but you need to have a photo that really shows who you are in one instance. The other thing is, and I'm telling you what to do, and then I'll tell you what not to do. So that headshot is really, really important. A great thing. Another thing is, don't have a bunch of text and stick an image in there just because, especially when they're images of other people. Put in images of you if you're able to do, a speaking event and you're speaking to an audience and you're there, and then you can see there's other people. Put those kind of images there, or you behind the scenes doing what you do. But the thing is what most people do is they have lots of text. The messaging is confusing. They're not using StoryBrand. They're not doing the thing that you need to do. But also, I say that if you confuse people and you have too many offers and too many things that you're offering, you're going to confuse people and they're going to drop out. They're not going to even go in through your website. Keep it simple, silly. Keep it simple. Great headshot. Don't worry so much about your colors. My colors, I've had those for a while. It's based on the Good and Plenty candy because when I was a kid, I loved the Good and Plenty
Oh,
boxes,
I
right?
love
It was
it.
hot pink,
Oh
black,
yeah.
and white.
Yep.
So that's why I incorporated that also to trigger people's subconscious mind that I'm
Yeah.
yummy and I'm
Yeah,
fun.
but it's also like the abundance of plenty, good and
Yes.
plenty.
Oh,
There you
thank
go.
you. There you
Yeah.
go. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that.
Yep.
But the things, and also I highly recommend above the fold, which means that when you go to the website, if it's on your phone or the desktop, above the fold, put a 30-second to a minute long video of
Yes.
you speaking directly to the person.
Oh my
Hey, oh,
gosh.
hey, you landed on my website. Hi, I'm Christine. I'm
Yes.
the expert authority coach, and I help you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Susie.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is who I help. And then do a call to action. Click the button below to book a free discovery call. Click the button below to do whatever, take my quiz. Short and sweet.
Mhm.
That way, people get a feel for you. If you're shifty eyed, if they can trust you, because, you know, you want to make that warm connection right away. So I highly recommend that. Above the fold just means before you start scrolling down the website. The video, have it play. Now, those are things that you should do. The thing you shouldn't, well, I kind of said what you should and shouldn't do in the same thing, but I had a client I had a client who's a therapist, right? And she deals with a lot of people struggling with a lot of stuff, depression, anxiety,
Yep.
all that stuff. And I went to her website. Now she lives in a part of America where there's beautiful like rivers and lakes and all of that stuff. And when I went to her website, the one thing above the fold that was really big, and I think it had her name and what kind of therapist she was, but it was this giant bridge. And I said, "Excuse me, why did you pick that image to be the huge full thing that you see when you go to your website?" She said, "Well, that's a local bridge, so I want it because she's a therapist where people come into her office." And
It's a
she said,
metaphor. Oh,
that's a
okay.
famous bridge." And yeah, yeah, she goes, "That's a famous bridge near where I live and work, and
Mhm.
so it's a landmark, and it's also I'm the bridge to getting healthier and all." And I said, "Do you know what I feel when I look at that bridge?" Because it was also like dusky, it was like getting dark.
Oh,
I said, "I
doom.
it yeah, like I want to jump.
Oh gosh. Oh
It makes me feel like a
no.
jumping bridge." And
Yeah.
she like you could hear like the brakes.
Mm.
She looked at that and she went, "Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. I've
Yeah.
had that up for a year."
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she said, "I never realized that." And I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Again, because we're inside the jar and we don't
Totally.
see,
Totally.
right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So as soon as I said that, of course she's like, "We're taking that down."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, "Just
Yeah.
do you're a therapist. You know how
Right.
to talk. Do a
Right.
video."
Yeah. Yeah.
calming people's nerves,
Yeah,
showing them that they can trust you and be vulnerable with you.
right.
Do a video, not a
So
bridge.
true. Not a bridge. No, not a bridge. And you're not a bridge repair person either. I think
No,
often,
exactly.
like, if you're a therapist, you don't typically want to show yourself on a hike in the woods, even though you might love nature. People want to envision what it's like to work with you. And when people have anxiety or depression, even more so, you want to overcome the unknowns, overcome any unknown, whether it's hearing you and your voice, getting a feel for the interior of your office. All those things help calm the nervous system down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
builds trust and it's being
yeah.
authentic. You're not faking
Totally.
it.
No,
You're
you're
not
just
faking
being
it.
you.
You're just
I
being you.
I write a minute and a half long video script for all of my clients, and I always say, I'm going to write you the script. You are going to have the words exactly what to say. You're going to deliver it in your own way. But I've got the words because I've mined for gold for them. But I never pressure them to record the video. But I do say your website will convert so much better if there's a video on here. It's just got to be on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can
Amen.
tell people what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, not in a bossy way, but
Yeah.
it's a call to action.
Yeah.
If you want them to look at your products, if you want them to look at, if you want them to book that discovery call,
Yep.
for me, the value is not so much people getting a free gift from me or a lead magnet blueprint or things like that. For me, the value is having that 30-minute free discovery call
Yep.
because then I get to in 30 minutes I can find out a lot about you and we can plot the course on the best way to go from there. But without that, it's really difficult to help anybody if you're just getting a free book or something like that. So
Totally.
whatever's the most important thing for you in your business that can turn someone who's looking at your website, questioning, wondering if you're the right fit, anything you can do to foster that process, then you want to have that be your call to action.
And typically, you don't want them to have to fill out a big long form in order to do so. Help them get onto your calendar with ease. You can
Yeah.
sure ask them a few questions. If you have a lot going on and your calendar's pretty full, shorten the call length to 20 minutes. It doesn't always
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
more than that. Christine, thank you so much for
Thank you,
showing up
Kris.
today and sharing your brilliance and your expertise and your stories. I loved every minute of it. So tell my audience where we can find more of you.
Yeah, it's super easy. You just go to expertauthoritycoach.com. They can find out how to book that strategy call, but also all of the different stuff that I've got, the podcast show. Some of my books are listed there as well. But I really, if you do reach out, if you do go to the site and you contact me, let me know that you heard me on Kris's show. That would be really important because that way I can also give that feedback to Kris and say, hey, someone who's a listener, someone who's watching this on YouTube reached out to me. That is really important for Kris to know too, that she's reaching the audience that she wants to reach. So
Mhm.
just let me know if you heard about me on the show. That would be great. And I look forward to meeting you.
All right. Thank you again.
Thanks, Kris. It's been a pleasure.